and he might improve to the point that he doesn't just need oxygen. I think he'll always need oxygen for sure now, but right now he needs something to help him breathe and get around. He'll be limited by what he can do. He's on the ventilator, he often can't speak because of the tube and stuff like that. But I mean, I can't, those are the odds. I can't predict the future, you know. Those, it's based on our experience and experience of other doctors that have seen him. That's probably the trajectory that he's going on.
But if you tell him to keep him for antibiotics, would he still be on the
No, we wouldn't. He would, if we turned out the dialysis, he would be still passing over the next couple of days and then eventually passing back. We make sure we usually do it, we would just next to the ventilator, so we make sure he doesn't gas his way that we could drug that we have and that makes him comfortable. That he won't be gassing for that, or we can even turn down the ventilator a little bit. But eventually he's not going to get enough oxygen to either his heart and his heart will stop beating. But we don't.
If we use morphine or medication like that with fentanyl, it truly takes away the drive, or should we say the pain of not being able to breathe. So if you gave somebody morphine, they wouldn't even want to take a breath if you could. You don't feel the suffocation, should we say?
Yeah.
The gasping. I mean, that's like the, I think just giving up any medication to keep somebody comfortable, because we don't want that either. And like Dr. Cole was talking about, I mean, just by turning off the dialysis machine, the toxins will build up in his body. Letting him do it.
But I would argue.
No, we don't do that.
But I would argue that our argument is comfort first for him. But if we make that decision that we're not going to let him suffer anymore, there's no point to kind of to stop the dialysis and let the toxins build up and then watch him slowly pass. I would say that we give him enough drugs that he's comfortable, he's not going to gas there, he's not going to be air hungry, and then we just let nature take its course and take its course rather quickly and smoothly versus prolong that suffering for him over a course of 3-4 days. In my mind, you know, it doesn't seem right to me to say we're going to give up, we're going to let his kidneys fail, and we know the toxins are going to build up, and we're just going to sit there and just kind of suffer.
Do you have any case studies or success stories of people coming out, like in his situation now, and being able to come back? And do you have anything like that
We
at all?
do.
Or?
There was a patient that was in his state maybe 3-4 months ago, and she's now still on oxygen with a trach, speaking in the ICU, in the recovery area in rehab, but she's been in the rehab for 6 months. But she was also 40 or 35 and much younger than him, you know, and came in with much more reserve. So, and to be honest with you, the first time when he got off the rotating bed and he was doing better and he was on the conventional ventilator and his oxygen saturations were getting better, I was very optimistic that was the way he was going. And we were very happy and very positive. But after the second hit, you know, I'm not very optimistic that at his age, there's so much going on, and the fact that he's been sick for so long, that he's going to be able to recover as well. I could be wrong. I know your grandfather or your husband is a good fighter, and you know, and there's a lot of fight in him. You know, doesn't give up, but you know, based on the experience of most of the medical people, that you know, the outcome of this is not most likely going to come out very well.
Is there anybody that we can talk to that's actually gone through this and, you know, success stories? I mean, is there people that we can talk to see?
Patients, you mean?
Yeah, I'm just like, you know, you said like it'd be interesting to know like what their quality of life is like, and if they had the choice,
Would they do it again?
would they do it again or whatnot?
They've asked people that. You know, I don't know if you can visit any patients. The only one
It's probably confidential
I
stuff. Right now.
have is the patient now in rehab.
Yeah.
You know, but I've talked to patients' families about that and patients, and it's varied. Some patients, you know, like have different, you know, views on that. Some patients are like, why'd you keep me alive? I suffered so much. You know, because there will be a period of time when we wean him off the ventilator, or off of sedation, when we wake him up, that he will most likely have some suffering until he gets better. And the one thing that always worries me is that when we did try to wake him up, he got really worse real fast. And I don't really know why. We basically stopped his sedation, meaning try to wake him up. And I told them that it would probably take 3 or 4 days for, because he had so much drugs on board, for it to wear off and for him to get better. But he just crashed and burned, even before he even really woke up, you know, and could communicate or talk to you, which makes me concerned about him waking up. You know, I understand your request, but I think that request is unfortunately hard to fulfill, you know. I think instead of fulfilling that, I think if you look inside, where you talk to everybody here, and everybody here knows who he is and what he wanted, the question to ask is, did he want to live that way? The question, if I want to live that way, is a different question. That is this what Mr. Shipman or Dwayne wanted in his life, you know, or, and then I think that's the hard question to answer. But I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think whatever you do will be in the best interest of him. And he's obviously very loved just by all these people that have gathered in this room, you know, and everything that's been going on.
This morning, I wrestled all this time, you know, thinking, and I thought, if we could let him more or less die a natural death.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about,
Yeah.
was option 2. I think more or less that, you know, shut off, because I know that you can keep him breathing because of oxygen. You can keep his blood clean because of dialysis. But 50 years ago, he would have been gone by now.
10 years ago, he would have been,
Even 10
5 years ago, before we had the hospital, he would have been gone
Yeah, see?
before.
So, you know we can do these things, but, so I'm at peace with that. If, you know, to do what you say, keep him plugged in, we just, like my daughter, we do not want him to be gasping for air. But if it's time for him to go, I'm ready for him to go, and I in my heart, in some way, I'm thinking, maybe in his heart, he really doesn't care that much about living, you know, he
Yeah.
really would like to go. And he told me before, when he went into surgery, he
Yeah.
said, if I don't see you here, I'll see you over there.
Oh, wow.
And he did come back, we got to talk to him, you know, several
Yeah.
times, we got to have
Because
him.
when we came out of the OR, he was awake, but he wasn't extubated.
I remember there was times when when you woke him up, and then we were able to talk to him, and this granddaughter, and you know, he'd
Yeah.
shake his head, but in his heart, I think that's what he would want.
Well, I think everybody in this room, since everybody's flown in from a long time, you guys should all come to the group consensus, you know? So everybody's comfortable with this, whatever decision you make.
Right.
The decision does not have to be made this hour, or even, you know, in 2 hours or 3 hours. I think I've been involved in these situations, fortunately, more than I would like to be. It's kind of part of the line of work that we do.
Hard for you, yes.
And I think it's important for all of you guys to kind of come at peace to whatever decision is made.
Let me ask you a question you can't answer.
Yeah.
During this time when he's been virtually at death's door,
Yeah.
has he had an out-of-body experience during this time? Has he been dead and brought back to life, and then when you try to revitalize him, he says, I've been over there and I don't want to be here anymore? Is that possible?
I mean, I don't know.
I didn't
how
think
to
you could
speak to that. He's never, quote unquote, coded on us, meaning that he's never died and we revived him.
Yeah.
He's gotten close where his oxygen saturations, and that's another thing I worry about, that his oxygen saturations for a day or two were pretty low, you know, and he's a
Does
very,
that affect him mentally?
yeah, he's a very intelligent man, and it could affect him mentally, and most likely there will be some type of injury from that time period. How much, I don't know, and how extensive.
Yes.
You know, I think the 3 options, I guess the second option was just not escalating any more care, not doing anything else, and the third option is kind of to withdraw care and just let you make their good course. I think either of those are reasonable. I think the first option of continuing and doing everything we want is probably not something that I would recommend. You know, we've tried everything we can, and I think we just prolong his suffering
Right.
with that option. But I think, you know, take some time. I know you guys just got in there. I don't mean to run. I just got 2 phone calls about the transplant, so I have to
Go ahead.
sort out what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for you guys to just see it and feel like you get all your questions answered before and all you're comfortable with whatever decision you make.
Just one last question. So if we did step 3, how long until like I know you said not very long, but is it talking like minutes, hours,
I would
days?
think he would probably expire in a couple of minutes.